markets are flat out ignoring the Fed and their resolve to raise interest rates and fight inflation, as we are getting a little bit of a bounce today in traditional markets as well as Bitcoin. We'll take a look at the charts here in a second. No real big news to talk about. Basically just a Friday where the markets are up about 1 to 1.5% across the board. NASDAQ leading at 1.4%. And the Chair Powell spoke yesterday and said that he is and the Fed are resolved to do whatever it takes, as long as it takes, higher for longer. That's the theme of the day coming out of Wall Street. And the next big mile markers that we have to look for is the CPI print next week on the 13th. And the Fed's meeting after that on the 20th, 21st. And that's it. There's no meeting in October. So the chances of them hiking 75 basis points is pretty strong, especially since they're not meeting in October, assuming the inflation print comes out in the 8% to 9% range. The interesting thing is, if the inflation print comes in softer than expected, below 8%, the markets will definitely rally on that. So you can look for a nice little pump there. Hopefully we'll have some sort of indication of what that's going to look like going into next week. Gas is down quite a bit. Nothing else really is. Some commodities, but mainly gas and oil are the big things that have been down lately. But I don't know if that's going to be enough, because we're looking at August numbers. So it should still be in the 8% range, but we'll see. But markets will rally on a good inflation report. The Fed will likely not come off a 75 basis point rate hike if it's still in the 8% range. If it drops below that, then all bets are off, and we really could expect the Fed to really back off, to maybe a 50 basis point rate hike. So we'll just have to wait and see what things look like. Here's Bitcoin. Yesterday, it was consolidating in this lower range here, popped up to the next level and kind of consolidated there, and then nice little short squeeze here into a flag. So is this flag, is this going to be a little bull flag that's going to pop up? This is Bitcoin on the hourly. Or is this going to just unwind like we've seen the price do? Whenever there's a squeeze to the upside, you see the little squeeze back down to the opposite direction. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But here's what I've been looking at. And I kind of went over this in the video yesterday. Two things. One, this bottom blue line is the previous all-time high from 2018, and price has been kind of working that line. It lost the 2018 high yesterday, and what I said was, what we want to look for is for price to come up above that and then find support and continue on from there. And if that's the case, this would be the next major trend of the downtrend, trend line of the downtrend that the price has been respecting and staying under. So if this is a real move and price can find support here and continue on, then maybe it can continue to bounce across here and potentially just range in this area. So those are the things I'm looking at on the Bitcoin chart right now. Ethereum had a nice little pop as well, still everything ahead of the ETH merge. And then if we take a look at traditional markets, nice little bounce for traditional markets as it continues its 3-day move to try to finish the week off with a win. But again, we're still in a declining market, still in a bear market, and these bounces are very common in a bear market. At this point, what we're looking at, and let's look at the dollar as well, because the dollar has reversed a little bit. It's been on the higher high, higher low watch. So we're on higher low watch here to see if dollar reverses, puts in a higher low, and then again goes on to put in a new higher high. We talked about oil. Oil has reversed for the time being, working its way back up. Is this going to be a bottom for oil? We talked about OPEC cutting production to get prices back up around 90 a barrel, which is where they want to be, ideally 90 or more. So this is a big inflationary thing to watch right there. And then, of course, continuing to watch Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of similar price action in most of the major altcoins. Everything's kind of getting a bounce today. So the question is, will this hold out? Will the momentum continue into the close? And that's what we always watch, right? Is the momentum into the close to kind of gauge where investors are in terms of the thinking and positioning. And is this just another bear market rally, or is this going to be something that's more sustained, where we can start putting in a bottom in markets and looking for a potential reversal when the Fed does stop tightening and gets through or begins serious QT, rolling off the balance sheet of mortgage-backed securities and Treasury. So until next week, I think obviously we have the weekend, and then I think markets are going to kind of range a little bit until we get the inflation print and the Fed's response to that over the next couple of weeks. So big market moving things coming up, and we will continue to watch that. But until then, these are the things I'm looking at. I'll see you on the next video.